By the time
Just
they're
really called
18,
drunk ones.
they can drink however much they want. And they
In
will.
some states of Australia, 18, yes.
It's everywhere.
What?
No, there's actually a couple places in Australia that 21 is the legal limit.
Where?
Western Australia has some spots. It's down to towns and cities that have that age difference.
I'd move. That's ridiculous.
But yeah, so there actually is not just, and then in America, there is actually some places where 18 is the limit.
I couldn't imagine being 18.
It's just the majority is 21 over there, and the majority here is 18.
I bet those 18 are down south.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah,
They start at 12.
Imagine being 20. You've been drinking here for 2 years. You're like, yeah, I'm gonna have an awesome trip to America.
Yeah, off to Florida. Hey, I'm not 21.
Oh
and
yeah,
then
off
you
to
can't
Florida
drink.
for spring
You're
break
like,
and I
what
can't do
the hell?
anything.
I've been drinking for 2 years. Why not we drink?
Actually, you'd be surprised how often that happens.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Well, the Americans come here because they want to drink.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've got a fantastic story.
Do you?
Oh yeah, go on.
Around for New Year's,
Do tell.
I had a friend who she travelled to Canada. She
Yeah.
wanted to see New Year's in Toronto and all that.
Yeah.
She got turned around at the airport. She wasn't allowed into the country because they found like a little bit of drugs in her suitcase or something.
Why would you go through the airport with drugs?
She
If
didn't
that's-
know that it was like drug traces, I think.
What?
Well, then don't get a new
What?
bag before you leave.
Yeah, but
What
how
do you-
hilarious is that? That the trip to Toronto, that's like a 18 plus.
Well,
Yeah,
flight.
it
what
is. It's quite a long
what
trip.
drugs was it that they found?
Oh, no idea, but
Because if it's weed, to my knowledge, that's legal in Canada.
Yeah, but you can't import it through.
yeah, that's probably.
Qantas isn't going to let you just go, oh yeah, it's
Oh,
fine.
she got that far.
Well, yeah, because it's trace amounts. It's not like she had a whole bag.
I think it might have been actually kind of like painkiller prescription ones, like Valium or something.
They let any
What?
prescription
But I'm
drugs
not
in
sure.
Canada.
But either way, she got she had to spend New Year's in the airport security room, and then she got sent back.
But where's the great
What?
part of that story? I mean, it's a downer.
Oh, maybe it's just great because I know her, and it's just. I just love that happened to her.
This is your friend.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
terrible.
we all had a laugh about it.
Even her?
No, not her.
Poop story. Yes, yes, very glad this is not my story. But, so yes, this guy found that he had a bowel condition, and that, I can't remember what the trigger was, but every so often it would be triggered, and he'd have to have a sudden rush, he'd have to get to the toilet because there was no stopping this. No pinching the butthole or anything. It's coming. So he's off to go to work or studies or whatever for the day. And he lived out on some farmland. And, you know, he walked down his long driveway. Then the urge came. And, you know, he's already, I don't know, I suppose this was like maybe a 3-minute walk down the driveway or whatever it might be. So the house is, you know,
Quite a way.
in the distance. So it was scrambling, holding the butt, scrambling, looking around, no, and took a squat right there in the middle of the paddock, blasted out what he described as the biggest paddy he's ever seen in his life, like outdoing a cow. And I don't know, cleaned himself however he did, I don't know what, and went off on his day. He comes back in the evening, and he makes his way back to the house. Oh no, sorry. Wait, no, there was a bit before that. Gets back. There is a few construction workers standing around this heaping pile, trying to figure out what creature could have laid this out. Like, it's what possible animal could have done something this big?
Dude, I just think a cow had diarrhea. It's not like the shit was shaped in a spiral.
Well, it's not made of hay. There's no hay or anything. This is human diet, so it's an omnivorous diet.
That's true. All right.
It's like, what cat or dog could possibly do this? Bear? Is there a bear in the area? So, he gets back up, and I don't know if at this point he knew what actually had happened, why these guys had discovered this thing.
Why were they even on his property?
Well, they were doing like work on there somewhere, like on the fencing or something.
Alright, fair enough.
So, gets back to the house, and he actually lives with a roommate who has a dog. And, dogs seem to find crap fun. So this dog has found this messy pile, something interesting you could go and roll in. Run back, frolicking back to the house.
Covered in his poo.
Yes. And, you know, the housemaid has found her dog covered, caked in crap. And so she's had to take this thing to the bathroom. And this dog has done what dogs do when they want to get dry. And spraying the bathroom in crap.
All over the bathroom.
Yes. So he's returned to find, and no, she was in the room and the dog shook too. So she was just as covered as anything else. And he's found, and she's like horrified, weeping mess. He's gone and put two and two together, and just like gone, oh, now. Don't remember how this part of the story, if he informed her as to what kind of crap this was, to further horrify her to find out it was human feces covering the room and herself, or if he left her thinking it was some animal crap.
If you shit yourself, would you tell people?
No.
I suppose it has to depend on the scenario,
Actually,
doesn't it?
no, not
If you
really.
need
But
to-
then,
Well, if you needed a leg up to get up a ledge or something for whatever reason.
I think I'd tell my friends. If I just randomly did it, I'd go home like, hey, I shit myself today.
Americans do it all the time. They're like
It's a
proud of
funny
it.
story. People shit themselves.
Sort of depends.
It really, it depends on how humiliating it's going to be.
Yeah.
There is like,
if,
Or
if
how
it's your
humiliating.
best friend.
well, there's like the jackass, like long jump
Yeah,
shit,
there is that.
the enema jump.
The enema job.
Yeah,
Well,
well, so with enemas,
I guess
enemas,
sometimes
and
it
the
can
jump
be.
shit.
I guess it can
They've
be pretty
owned it.
embarrassing. Like I've gone out one time and some girl wearing a dress shit herself. That didn't end well for her. I'm assuming she was on drugs or something.
She wasn't aware of it.
Was she
I
hot?
don't know, but her legs were
Was-
a mess.
Was she hot?
I don't remember.
So that she was not hot enough to distract you from the crap down her legs.
No.
Wrong.
All this shit talk has reminded me of petrol pies. Petrol station pies.
What about petrol station?
Is there a difference?
No, there isn't a difference.
That's right.
Yes,
There's no difference.
There isn't a difference. It's a fucking pie.
Well,
Yeah,
the difference
no
is it's
difference.
there for
There's no
weeks.
difference between petrol station pies and a pile of shit.
Oh well.
That's why I'm still thinking of it.
Oh well. In that case, no, there is a huge difference.
Although there's not.
Yeah, there is.
It tastes what it
Aesthetically,
smells
it's
like.
still a pie.
It's sloppy diarrhea in pastry.
Can you prove it's sloppy diarrhea in pastry?
Well, the smell.
It smells great.
You have an interesting diet.
No, I just did aged care. I know what shit smells like, man.
That doesn't tell you anything. It's just mothballs popping out.
The mothballs popping out. So what? You get to an age and they just cram you full, and over the period.
Well, no, that's just why it's coming out.
No.
All these pellets when they go in the bar, they're potent.
I've never risked a petrol station pie, but I have tried a sausage roll, and yeah, that didn't end well.
Had my green spotted custard tart once.
Oh yeah. About
It was, yeah. Well, I was young, so this is how I ended up eating most of it. So I was young, and my mama's partner at the time came home. He brought a pie and a custard tart. Love custard tarts. I'd drink custard straight from the cartons and things.
Yeah.
Just loved it. So and I love custard tarts. There was an Asian bakery I used to get them from all the time. They had them just like mounted, like they'd have that surface tension. They'd be mounted, not this sunken crap. These things went up, and so I loved it. So he brought that back. I ate the pie, managed to get through that, got through it,
got through it.
Then got to the custard tart, and I was like, so I took a bite of that, and I was like, ooh, something's wrong here. And I think I had been whining throughout the day as well. So I've told him, and he's like, stop whinging. You've been whinging enough today. Just eat your custard tart. You love them. So I started taking a few more bites, and I started to, this really doesn't seem right. And I started looking at it and noticed there's green dots on it.
That's nasty.
Like there's green, so these days I know it was green mold spores that were all over this thing.
What fucking petrol station do you get them from?
A believe it was a 7-Eleven.
Well, there's your problem. Have you had anything from 7-Eleven?
Well, I avoid it now.
Now.
There's... It is
That'd
not.
be you, I think.
It's over there. It's a mobile phone. This is another issue I'm going to get into right now.
What?
Mobile phones do not need immediate attention.
We're bloody filming. It should be on silent.
Yeah, have you ever heard of that rule?
If it rings, I can get back to it later with caller ID.
Yeah, but what if it's like a massive tragedy?
Well, what happened back in the day when we only had landlines and I'm here at the office and I wasn't around the landline?
Yeah, but still, if there was like something important, someone would still ring you.
Yeah, but I couldn't get it.
What if your house burned down?
Well, what am I going to do about it?
I don't know. What if your girlfriend was inside?
Still, what am I going to do about it?
Five people take care
I
of
don't know. Cry and leave.
How's
What
that-
any
how's-
normal person would do?
How's that going to help the situation?
I don't know. It gets your immediate attention.
Well, I've missed the call.
Okay, alright, so if there's a crispy corpse over there that used to be something that you were ploughing, would you rather deal with that now, or would you rather, like, extend that for an hour of your life?
Right now, I don't know about it.
So what, ignorance is bliss?
Basically. If it's important, I'll leave a message.
That's so bad.